Hi, this is Julian and welcome for a new tutorial about Lightroom where I'm going to explain how to use virtual copies. So it's very interesting. It's quite a basic function of Lightroom, so if you don't know what is a virtual copy, you would probably wonder how you've been living without it before. It is very easy, but first you need to understand how the catalog is working. So the first thing I need to explain is the catalog, how the catalog in Lightroom is operating. So first of all, you create a catalog and you put your photos in it, but actually you don't really put the photos inside the catalog. It's more like a database where you are indexing all the files. So the catalog is saying, well, this photo is on this hard drive in this folder in this particular place, and maybe this photo is another hard drive in a different folder, etc. So the .lrcat file is actually not containing all the photos. The photos are somewhere on your hard drive and the catalog is just indexing them. It's just a database, and it will keep all your adjustments, obviously, all your developments, and it will keep all your metadata like keywords, collections, labels, ratings, all of that. So the photos are stored where you want to put them. So for example, for me, it will be something very easy, like an external hard drive where I put all my photos, and then I create one catalog per project. And in this catalog, I say, well, I want to import all the photos that are in this folder. So basically what I do is I organize and sort my photos on the computer beforehand. And once it's ready, I would just import them in Lightroom. So you just go to File, Import Photos and Videos, and import them where you want them. You can also import directly from an SD card, and obviously you're not going to keep your photos on the SD card. You want the photos to be transferred from the SD card to the hard drive. And this is where you're going to use a copy or move function while you're importing. But still you don't have to believe that the photos will be in the catalog. They will be copied or moved on a specific location on a hard drive, and then they will be imported to the catalog. So basically, the virtual copy, it's a very simple concept. It means you ask Lightroom to duplicate a file, but just inside Lightroom. So say this photo, for example, if you look at this catalog, it's a very simple catalog. It's a catalog I built just for the purpose of a few tutorials on my channel. So there are only 4 photos. Obviously I've got a lot more, but for this tutorial it's just 4 photos. And these photos, again, it's not a very realistic situation, but again, it's just an example for the tutorial, for the sake of the tutorial. So they are on the desktop. And yeah, obviously you're not going to keep all your photos on the desktop. So you can see this one here is actually this photo on the desktop. And say I want to develop the photo in a very different way, and I want to show my client a different version, or maybe I want to show him or her like 10 different versions of this photo. So yeah, a very silly way to work would be duplicate 10 times the file and then re-import it all the time. This is not going to work, and it's not very practical. What you want to do is just right click and then click on Create Virtual Copy, and what it will do, it will duplicate the file with exactly the same settings as before. So if the file is untouched, it will be untouched. This one has been developed before. You can see the before and after. If I jump into the develop module, I can maybe show you the before and after depending on when I imported the file. But anyway, here I have duplicated the file, but on the desktop, I still have just one file. So it is very practical because you don't actually physically duplicate the file on the hard drive. It is just one DNG file on my hard drive, but I've got 2 different versions in my catalog. So I kind of take this one, go to develop, and I don't have the before because I've imported the file already developed. So that's why Lightroom believe that there is nothing before. But what I can do, if you want to see the before and after, I could just right click and say develop settings reset, and then I will be back to my previous adjustment. And if I have no adjustment made before, it will be just the normal file. So on this photo, what I want to do, so as you can see now, what I've done on the file was just correcting the skin for another tutorial. Anyway, it's not the purpose of this video. Let's just make a quick adjustment so there is a real difference in between the two virtual copies. So for this one, I'm just going to create like a very quick black and white, and let's do something like this, and then maybe a quick local adjustment for the skin with a negative clarity, so I get a smoother skin. Here we go. It will need a bit more time, but it's not the subject of today's video, so yeah, let's do this. Right, so now I go back to the library. I've got two copies. One is black and white, one is in color. And now if I right click and click create virtual copy, it will make a virtual copy based on the one that is in color. But if I do the right click on the one that is black and white, it will create a virtual copy based on the one that is black and white. And you can have an unlimited amount of virtual copies. And if you fear that it's going to mess up your catalog and you will end up with a massive disorganized catalog, you can actually create a pile of photos, and this is what Lightroom is doing by default. If I click on this button here, it will collapse all the photos into one giant pile of photos, and you can see the number 4 here, and that means I've got 4 photos in that pile of photos. And if I click there, it will just unfold. It's basically like a folder. So again, physically on the hard drive, I've got just one file, but in the catalog, Lightroom knows I need these 4 files. I've created these 4 files, just virtual copies. And it is very interesting because now I can make, say, another adjustment. So let's make like a very high key version, because this photo works pretty well. It's not overexposed, it's very high key, which is sometimes very pretty as well. And let's make like a a split toning on this version. So tint the shadows in blue, tint the highlights in, yeah, maybe orange, and you can see it's quite a nice result. So now I've got 4 different versions that I can show to my client, and now they can be treated as any other file. So I can just select them now and say I want to export them. So I could export, say I've got a preset that is going to export the files as JPEG, 70% quality and 1000 pixel wide, because they are in landscape mode. So I could just export these files very easily to show them to my clients, say via email. Or now that they are selected, I could say bring back the panel and then create a new collection and say selection for client blah blah blah. It's just an example, obviously. I'm going to include selected photos and click create. So now I have a specific collection, and this collection could be with a right click. If I activate the Lightroom mobile, I could actually sync these photos in the cloud and send them to my iPad and work on them while I'm on the go. Or I could just go to, say, the web module and export all these copies as a gallery and publish them on internet. So it doesn't make sense for 4 photos to create a gallery, but say you've got like 12 photos you want to show your client over the web, and you're going to create this gallery like in 2 clicks. So that's very convenient. So yeah, virtual copies, they make your life a lot easier. If you don't know them, don't be afraid to use them. As you can see, it's very easy, just a matter of a right click. It's going to duplicate the file. It will keep things simple on your hard drive because it will be just one file, so the actual file won't be duplicated, and then it will be treated in Lightroom as if it was like any other photo. So they are independent, just as if they were different files on the hard drive. That's the easiest way to remember how it works. Consider they are different files on the hard drive, except they're not. It's just one file in the end. So very convenient, very useful. It's been there for ages, because I think it's been there since Lightroom 1, since the first version. So even if you're not working with Lightroom 5 or the latest version, because I don't know when you're going to see this video, so maybe it's going to be Lightroom 6 or Lightroom 7. But anyway, it's been there since Lightroom 1, so there is no reason not to use virtual copies. Do use virtual copies, and don't be afraid to experiment, don't be afraid to create different versions. it is usually a good way to find the best adjustments for your work. So I hope you enjoyed this video. For more of this free tutorial, these free tutorials, you can go on my channel on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/Julien Ponce TV. Very easy, just my name, TV, and you will find playlists on Photoshop, Lightroom, photography, maybe a few videos about After Effects as well. They are in French and in English. I suppose if you're watching this now, you're interested in the English videos. If you want to download the raw files that I show in this video, you can go on my website. Again, it's very easy, julienponce.com. You can register, it's free. Registration is free, and then you can download the raw files for all my free tutorials. So it doesn't cost anything, and even better, you get 2 free credits when you register to then buy premium tutorials. So if you just want the raw file, just register. It is entirely free. And then if you want to get in touch with me, just go on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/Julien Ponce UK, and well, you will see a lot of links posted. It will be obviously about tutorials, but it can be as well about photography, cinema, music, video games, all the stuff that I find interesting and inspiring on a daily basis. And well, you can use the messages in Facebook if you want to ask me any questions. So should you have any question about Lightroom, photography in general, or Photoshop, or anything you want to ask me, or if you just want my feedback on your photos and adjustments, if you want to find a better way to develop your photos, basically do not hesitate to ask me anything you want, and I'll try to respond as quick as possible. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.